Move the meeting, Chairman. It's 9:31.
Yes, are we ready to go, Michael? Well, everybody, thank you. Is that John Shuttleworth moving the meeting?
Yes, it certainly was. Thank you.
Oh, God bless you, John. Thank you very much indeed. Yes, welcome to the Area Planning Committee, South and West, Thursday the 17th of September. It's a long time since we had our last meeting, everybody. So welcome back. It's lovely to see you all. Can I remind all members to keep your microphones on mute when you're not actually speaking, to make sure that your blurred or corporate background is engaged, and to remember that not only are we live, but this is recorded and will be on YouTube for 6 months at least. So remember that the world is watching, people. Can I welcome Alison Eccles to the meeting? Alison, are you there? Have you
hello there. Hi.
Hi there. It's lovely to see you at the meeting, and we'll hear what you've got to say later on. Thank you very much indeed.
Thank you.
Can I introduce the officers as well? I'll just read your names, and rather than bringing you on individually to say hello, I'm assuming that you're a corporate hello. John Byers, Claire Cuskin, who's the legal officer, Kirsty Charlton, who is the support. Steve Pilkington, I'm hoping, is here because he's going to present the item to us. And Michael, who we've just said hello to, I believe you're the administrator of the meeting. There's somebody listening in as well from IT to make sure we don't go wrong. Thank you very much. Is there anybody from Highways here?
Yes, there is, Councillor Dave Stewart.
I've missed your name on the list. Thank you, David. It's a lot. Oh, you've joined the meeting at the bottom there. Thank you. Well done. OK, can I remind councillors that if you wish to speak, just press RTS and let's move as quickly as we can to the agenda. One, apologies for absence.
Good morning, Chair. We've got apologies from Councillor Sam Zare.
Thank you very much. Substitute members.
Chair, we have Councillor Patricia Jopling substituting for Councillor Zare.
Hi, Councillor Jopling. I've already said hello before the meeting, but I'll do so formally now. Welcome to the meeting. Thank you. Declarations of interest. None. Minutes of the meeting held on the 16th of July. I understand, Councillor Tinsley, you want to say something about this.
Yeah, thank you, Chair. I'd just sentence to paragraph 6 on page 11 of the minutes. It's a paragraph that starts, Councillor Tinsley confirmed if that second sentence could be deleted. I appreciate it. Thank you, Chair. I've just put it up in the chat function. Just to
yes. Are people happy with that? Yes. I noticed my video stopped working, so I'm a disembodied voice. I'm not going to try and get it going because it damages my bandwidth. I'm just going to carry on. If it's causing you a lot of problems, just pop something in the chat function, which seems to be working absolutely. And so we move to the applications to be determined. It's application number 826, Lartington Rain, the erection of a timber cabin to host pony training events. And I think that I'm going to ask Stephen to do the presentation for us on this.
Yes, thank you, Chair. I'll just load up the presentation there. Okay, hopefully that's coming on everyone's screens there. So this application was originally presented to members of the Planning Committee on the 16th of July early this year. The application was deferred, as in short, it was considered there was not sufficient information to determine the development's impact on ancient woodland and an additional on ancient woodland. An additional assessment has now been received, while amendments to the scheme have also been submitted. To refresh members' memory of the application, I'll skip through the slides and just highlight the changes to the scheme. So application site edged in red on Lartington Lane. Barnet Castle to the edge of the screen to the east. It's an aerial photograph of the site, again edged in red. Ancient Woodland is to the south of the site. It's a site photograph from Lartington Lane. You can see the existing access and the approximate location of the barn highlighted. Again, another photograph of the site. There's an existing timber field shelter which is proposed to be removed. Again, the location of the barn is highlighted. This is another view across the site. You can see the land rising slightly in the woodland to the rear. Again, a closer image of the woodland. So this is the site plan that was originally proposed. The larger building aligned along the field boundary with the cabin sited further to the south, closer to the woodland, and a hard surface access track to the proposed access. So we've had an amended scheme with the main building rotated 90 degrees, now screening the hard standing, parking and the chalet building. The chalet was moved away from the woodlands and is now approximately 15 metres from the woodland edge. The access has been amended to a twin trod design, which is shown at the top right of the screen, effectively hard surface tracks with planting in between and a hedgerow running the entire length. It's the design of the chalet building which remains unchanged. The proposed barn has been reduced in height from 6 metres to approximately 5.3 metres and a stone base course added. So just a quick summary of the consultation responses. Both councillors Henderson and Bell offer support for the scheme, noting the further design changes and addressing the woodland issue. Landscape section, while they still have concerns over the scheme, it is advised that the impact of the development has been reduced from that previously proposed. If approval is granted, conditions are recommended to secure finer details of matters. So in summary, again, this is set out in detail in the committee report. Although the amended plans have reduced the level of harm than that previously proposed as a result of positive changes that have been negotiated, the development would still have a negative visual impact on the surrounding landscape. However, it is recognised that there are some positive economic benefits arising through the development through increased visitor numbers and job creation, and why the development would also help understand and preserve the Dales pony breed. In the round, taking these benefits into account, it is considered in this instance will finally balance the benefits would outweigh the policy conflict and landscape harm of the amended scheme, and now the application can be recommended for approval. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you very much indeed, Stephen. That was very helpful and mercifully brief. God bless you. I have no members indicating that they wish to speak, to ask questions at this point. So what I would intend to do now with everybody's agreement is to... is this a question, Councillor Tinsley?
It is, Chair.
Can you ask your question then? Remember, we're not making comments at this point. This is just questions of the officer's report.
Okay, just it's a very specific point. I noticed in the summary there, the officer identified that there will be economic benefits associated with the proposed development. Have they been quantified anywhere in terms of jobs created, income to the area, or are there purely assumptions that development of this nature will have associated positive economic impact? Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. Mr. Pilkington?
Yeah, sorry, Chair. I think in section 71 onwards of the committee report, there's some general assumptions about the economic benefits of the development, and in the applicant statement they do set out what they perceive as a number of jobs that would be created. But I think that is fair to say that there is, there are general assumptions about the development of this nature rather than a specific assessment.
Thank you. Councillor Jewell, is this a question?
Yes, it is. I just need clarification. Stephen, I believe I heard you say that you were recommending approval. Is that correct? Why I ask the question is in my papers, the recommendation is refused.
You've got the wrong papers, Councillor Jewell. The recommendation is for approval.
I've got
Um,
approval.
Yeah, just to
Yes.
confirm, it is now recommended for approval. The latest committee report sets that out. That has changed from the previous recommendation as a result of the amended scheme and additional information submitted.
Thanks very much for that. Thanks for the clarification.
Yes, we must be careful that we've got not last time's papers, but this time's papers. The recommendation comes after paragraph 112. The conclusion of the officer runs paragraphs 100 to 112 in the papers which are opposite for this meeting. Thank you very much indeed. I have no parish or town councillors who've indicated they wish to speak. Neither a local member. Is Councillor Henderson isn't here?
No, he's
No.
not, Chair.
I think we just have a letter to be read out by Councillor Richard Bell. Michael, could you please read that out to us?
Certainly, Chair. Councillor Richard Bell writes in support of this application for today's meeting. As you will recall, I spoke in support of the previous application from a landscaping perspective and on the issue of ancient woodland. I note that the applicants have produced further improvements addressing the woodland issue and moving the position of the buildings to create a courtyard effect which will hide the parked cars and hard standing area, further mitigation landscape impact. I therefore support this application wholeheartedly and look forward to its approval by the committee.
Thank you very much indeed. I have no objectors to the. I'm sorry, I'm slightly distracted in as much as my battery's about to die and I'm just plugging it into the electricity. There we go. I have no objectors, but we do have Alison Eccles, who's going to come and speak to us about her report for her application. Are you there, Mrs. Eccles?
Yes, hello, I'm here.
Fine. You've got 5 minutes to speak. Please don't be put off when somebody, I think it'll be Michael, sort of shouts after 4 minutes. Just so even the most experienced people are sometimes taken aback when they're interrupted mid-flow. Just pause and then start the sentence again, and we'll hear the last minute of your presentation. Please, we're very anxious to hear what you have to say. Thank you.
Thank you. I would like to thank the Chairman and members for considering our revised application and appreciate the time and effort put in by the planners who are now supporting our project. Following the last committee meeting on the 16th of July, one of the main concerns was the impact of our project on the ancient woodland. We've now addressed this matter and provided a comprehensive report covering the concerns raised. The conclusion being that our project is now a low impact development. The other main concern was the visual impact on the landscape. We have now revised our layout and rotated the agricultural building and lodge to create a courtyard effect which will disguise the hard standing area and parked cars. This is in line with the advice provided by the landscape section to address the overall visual impact. We've already demolished an existing Dutch barn and have agreed to demolish an existing field shelter. This has had a positive impact on the overall view. Our new buildings will be a much improved site. We are using eco-friendly materials and addressing low carbon by building a timber cabin. Timber is ecological and sustainable, has better insulating properties and minimises energy needed for heating. Timber has a positive O2 balance. It filters the air and provides a healthy climate in a building. The new access track will be a twin-trod track to include wildflower grass verges. We're also providing additional screening by way of a new native hedgerow, which provides additional habitat for wildlife, along with a number of bird nesting boxes. A sophisticated effluent disposal system will be in place and maintained annually. External lighting will be kept to a minimum and at a reduced illumination level to avoid disturbing wildlife. As we're due to leave the transition period for the departure from the EU at the end of this year, The UK will leave the Common Agricultural Policy. The aim of the bill is to provide benefits for the public, such as improving the environment, etc. However, the government also want to conserve native livestock, native equines, or genetic resources relating to such animals. Our project aims to preserve the Dales pony, one of our native pony breeds here in the UK, whilst providing a rural tourism facility offering accommodation. I refer to the figures quoted by Visit County Durham 2019. Tourism is worth 181 million, bringing in 2.7 million visitors to the Durham Dales area. Day visitors 89%, overnight visitors 60%. That is 13% of the county total. Day expenditure 71 million, overnight expenditure 110 million. That's 19% of the county total. People attending visitor attractions in County Durham is 5.9 million. Self-catering accommodation makes up 53%. I think the above figures show that there is a demand in County Durham for rural holiday accommodation and new visitor attractions. We hope to provide both on an all year round basis. I do hope that we can meet a satisfactory conclusion today so that we can proceed with our plans, as we are applying for a rural grant. The final deadline has been extended slightly, but time is running short. Thank you for your time.
Thank you very much, and thank you for the efficiency of your delivery as well. That's much appreciated. I have nobody else who wishes to speak. I am signalling early on that I intend to speak during this debate as a member of the committee. But before I do, is there any member of the committee who wishes to speak to make comment on this application? Councillor Shuttleworth.
Yes, Chairman. I think in these uncertain times, anything that's going to create any form of employment anywhere, I think we're to support, and I'm happy to move approval of the application.
Thank you. Anybody else wish to speak? Now, is this my computer that's just not working properly?
Chair,
Michael
Councillor,
Turnbull,
yeah.
can you tell me? Oh, I've got, here we go.
Councillor,
Councillor
yeah.
Liz Brown.
Thank you, Chair. Councillor Liz Brown, Neville's Cross Division. I was the councillor that moved deferring this at the last meeting we had regarding this. I'm delighted to see that everything has been sorted, which we were worried about. And John has beaten me by proposing it, and I'd just like to second that we agree with what the officer has put forward.
Thank you, Liz. Councillor Fraser Tinsley.
Thank you, Chair. Yeah, very positive that the applicant's gone away and made an attempt to address the issues that came up in our discussions back in July. Thinking back to that debate that we had before we deferred the application, I know it was deferred on the issue of the impact on the woodlands, but at the time my main concern was the visual impact, and that was a concern that was shared by the landscape officer. We must remember here that we are in an area of high landscape value, and it's been designated as such because it is a benefit to the area, and it has a real amenity value. Now, I am cognizant of the fact that the applicant has reduced the height of the shed, and that is the main issue, I think, with the visual impact. And the height has been reduced by 76 centimetres, so around 6 metres to 5.25 or so. That is, in my view, questionable as whether it's material or not when viewed from a distance, but I do accept that there has been an attempt to reduce the impact there. Another issue that I would just like clarification on, which didn't come up in the previous discussions, and reading through the report here, I would like to flag. Condition 4 attached to the proposal, the recommendation from the officers, relates to the occupancy of the proposed dwelling. Obviously, we didn't have a condition 4 last time on a condition like this because there was no recommendation for approval. That seeks to limit the occupancy of the chalet to people who have another address, a primary residence. Now, my concern with this is this could lead to a situation where the chalet could, under the terms of the permission, be a second home or a holiday home or something of that nature. And I would just like clarification possibly from legal officers around the planning officer. What is the situation that we have with caravan parks, for example, where we have a condition, or do we still maintain conditions that restrict usage of that to certain times in the year, or rather require that it is not used for certain times of the year? Because that is something that could overcome that problem if there is potentially a problem there. I'd like the views. So really, I think my position here is that I understand that there has been an attempt to reduce the impact from a visual perspective and on the woodland. Again, just going back to the previous point I made the question in the offices, I am concerned that actually, as far as I can see, the positive economic benefit of this has not been quantified, and it is based on assumptions that development does bring positive impacts to a local economy. And then finally, just that issue around the occupancy of the dwelling. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. Stephen, do you want to comment on condition 4?
Yeah, thank you, Chair. I mean, yeah, that is a standard condition we use for pretty much all tourism accommodation now. We are moving away from sort of seasonal restrictions because we recognise that, for example, caravans are used throughout the year, and there are economic benefits that can be delivered throughout the year that you know, which wouldn't necessarily necessitate if you know, if it was restricted to be closed over winter months, etc. So yeah, I think we do feel like the condition is reasonable to the development and would restrict somebody living there, and would limit that to that holiday use.
Thank you. And coming back to Councillor Tinsley here. Councillor Tinsley, thank you for your comments. I didn't hear any proposals for you from you in terms of whether the opposing the application or proposing that we alter condition 4. Am I correct in that? You've made some very helpful comments but made no proposals. Am I correct in that?
Yeah, having listened to the officer's comments there, I do not propose any proposed change to condition 4. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you very much indeed. Councillor Blakey.
Hello, thank you, Chair. It's just I was going to second the thing. We've seen what they've done. They've altered the recommendation for what's come forward to suit in as best as they can. The way that tourism's going, we're going to need every penny we can get in this area. So I agree with the development.
Thank you. Councillor Atkinson.
Hi, good morning. Can you hear me all right, John?
We can, thank you.
Yes, I was in favour of this application when it came up last time. I'm still of the same opinion. I'm listening very carefully to what Councillor Fraser says. I don't have the same problem that he appears to have with the visual impact. I think that the applicant themselves, who live in the area, are living there all the time, they would have the greatest to lose from sustainability and from an economic point of view. You know, they're obviously clearly it's a hobby as much as anything else. They have a clear business plan. I've seen a similar example on the A66. If you go across the A60, it's about 15 miles from Newton Aycliffe. It's a place called Mainsgale, which started off as a little farm with a couple of rare breeds in a field outside and a couple of little playthings for children and delicatessens, and it's actually taken off. It's a massive business now. So in terms of quantifying economic impacts, that would often be guesswork. Nobody knows whether a business is going to shoot off into the sky or go down, and I think that's the same for everybody and on most businesses. I think it's clear to me it's a good idea, and I would be in favour of it alongside what everybody else has said up to now. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. I have nobody else on my list indicating they wish to speak, so I'm going to have my little say, please. I have a question to ask of the officer, and then I have a statement to make. Stephen, what I noticed when I was reading it, that the landscaping division said that there were various details that they wanted to be addressed as part of the conditions. Am I right in thinking that condition 6 meets their requirements in that respect?
That's correct, Chair. And yeah, and additional conditions like condition 7, the materials, but condition 6 primarily meets the concerns or the finer details that landscape are requesting.
Thank you. In that, what I've got to say is that I'll have said this to you before, that the Egyptians believed that the dead needed food, and so when they built a tomb, they had a little ledge outside, and every day they would take, as well as the food for themselves, they'd take a meal out for their dead relatives. Sort of by the time Egyptian civilization had gone on for centuries, they were giving more food to the dead than they were eating themselves, and it's cited as one of the reasons that Egyptian civilization collapsed. It's the same for us, you know. There are rules about helping the preserving heritage features, about preserving areas of high landscape value. This is absolutely vitally important, but at the same time, we have to feed ourselves, and we mustn't let the former prevent the latter. At the same time, neither must we give free rein to people to just do as they want and concrete over our countryside. And it's finding that balance which is the issue. Now, the officer has made quite clear that although paragraph 11 of the NPPF is not engaged in this circumstance, nevertheless, it is this balance which runs through all the relevant sections of the local plan, that we have to see a balance between development and preservation. And last meeting, we did not feel that we were happy that that balance had been achieved. Now, of course, you annoy everybody when you try and get a balance, because the developer wants to maximise their development, and yet at the same time there are people in the community who want to preserve at all costs, and it's our job to say, is this a fair balance? Does this balance meet planning regulations? I feel that I'm happy with and the word used is negotiation between the planners and the developer. And I too agree with what's being said, that whereas previously I thought we were absolutely correct to defer decision, in this case I think we have, my personal view, not as the chair but as a member of the committee, is that we've got that balance much better, and I'm prepared to go along and support the proposal. I have no proposals to reject it. I have a simple proposal to accept, and that's been seconded. Unless anybody else wishes to speak now, I'm going to ask Claire to take that vote. Oh, hang on, Councillor George Richardson. Do I see your hand?
I was just going to second the movement earlier on, but I thought I'd put my hand down. Sorry, Mr. Chairman.
Oh, thank you. Don't worry, Councillor Richardson. Thank you for your intervention. Right, Claire, if you could take the vote on that proposal. If you vote yes, then you are voting to accept this application. If you are voting no, you are voting to reject it. Claire, could you go through people, please?
Thank you, Chair. Yes, Councillor Atkinson.
Yes, that's a clear yes from me. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Bell.
Yes from me.
Thank you. Councillor Blakey.
Yes.
Thank you. Councillor Brown.
Yes.
Thank you. Councillor Chaplow.
Yes.
Thank you. Councillor Gary Huntington. Councillor Huntington, are you there?
Has his microphone gone off?
Claire, I'm going to interrupt there. You're doing Councillor Huntingdon. If you can hear us but are unable to reply, remember you can put your vote into the chat function.
He's muted on my screen.
Yeah. Claire, please continue.
Certainly, Chair. Councillor Jewell,
Yes.
Councillor Joplin,
Yes.
thank you. Councillor Maitland,
Yes.
thank you. Councillor Quinn,
Yes.
thank you. Councillor Richardson,
Yes.
Councillor Shuttleworth,
Approval.
thank you. Councillor Tinsley,
No.
and we've had nothing from Councillor Huntington in the chat function, Chair, so I make that 11-1 in
Thank
favour
you.
of
It's
approval.
overwhelming. This is therefore approved. Thank you, Mrs. Eccles, for visiting us. Thank you for making the changes we made, which made it possible to approve this quite exciting development that you've got going there in the open countryside. We wish you all the very best with it. With your permission, ladies and gentlemen, unless there's somebody who wants to say something, shout up, because my chat function is about as useless as everything else on this computer today. So with your permission, I'm going to close the meeting.
Agreed.
Agreed.
Agreed.